Well, welcome one and all. You are there. We are here. This is Tow Professional on the Go podcast. And remember, this is your podcast. It's for the pros that have a need to know that are on the go. And it's truly the voice of the towing and recovery industry. And one thing we try and do weekly on this is bring you the industry leaders, the men and women in industry that are making things happen that can help your business get out of the red and back in the black and can give you that information that'll make you successful out there on the day-to-day task. And guess who we've got today, man? One of the greats in the industry when it comes to training, and that's Beau White. He's CEO of the Towing and Recovery Academy. And we have him on here today. We got the pleasure of having him, and he's going to be on here answering questions for you and letting you know how training can not only save you money and keep your employees long term, but how it can add to saving you costs, protecting lives, and the whole overall picture of training. So I'm so excited about this because we actually have a feature coming up in the upcoming issue that is on training, and Beau's got his information on there on everything he does. So Beau, welcome to Tow Professional on the Go podcast. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, man. Glad to be here.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Well, man, I tell you what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into this because I've got a bundle of questions. I'm just biting at the bit to ask. So first off, tell our listeners here how long you've been in the industry and towing, and how did that all start?
Well, to be honest, I was a little kid in the barbershop one day, and I saw a guy come in driving a Henry's Wrecker. And I looked at that truck and I said, man, I'd like to do that one day. And I met the gentleman, and he asked my father, can I ride with him for the day? And him and I went out for a ride, and I just fell in love with it.
Wow, man, that is so awesome. But I'm gonna tell you what our listeners might not believe is that either one of us been at a barber shop anytime soon. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And you say you've been in towing for what, nearly 30 years?
Yeah, almost 30 years, 28 years. I've been in the industry for 28 years.
Wow, man, that is unbelievable. Well, let me ask you this: what made you decide to join Hannon Towing and Recovery?
Well, it was a very easy decision. I went there actually almost a year ago, and I they hosted my company, Torrent Recovery Academy. I came out and I done a training course there, and when I walked into their facility, I felt like I belonged there a year ago. I've
Wow.
been always in constant contact with the owners, and we communicate for the last year or so, and it just how you go somewhere, you just feel like you belong. And I just always felt
Yeah,
like that was the place I needed to be.
man. So it felt like home when you walked in there.
Felt like home.
Yes, awesome, awesome. Well, tell me, was this the right move at this stage of your career? Tell me, what was your mind telling you in your heart?
Yeah, at this stage of my career, yes. One of the reasons is the way that the owners are, right? The things that they do and how
Yeah,
they communicate, and it was just perfect. The timing, right? We all, we all at a place in our lives for a season, right? So now is my
yes,
season to be there.
right. What stood out about Hannon's culture and leadership to you?
Oh, what stood out for me was, hey, seeing the owners actually
Yes,
not just own the company, but their
right.
presence. When they walked in, all the employees knew exactly who they were, and they knew all their employees. They would come in and just have conversations with them, talk to them. But what really impressed me about Hannon is the brothers, they're out there every day. They actually run the rotators. Not that they just have the money to buy these trucks. These guys
Right.
actually run them. They actually run their controls. They run the remote controls. So our similarities, our drives are like the same. We have the same motivation, the same drive.
So would you say do you feel like they differ from some other companies you worked for in the past, or Because it
Oh yeah,
sounds
they
like a great
definitely.
match for you.
Oh, they definitely differ. Like I said a minute ago,
Mhm.
just to have owners on the side of the highway
Yes,
working with you, making you feel like you're somebody. You're like, we're just not a number. You're actually
right,
somebody. Like they actually value you and they value your input. And just a conversation we're having, and me seeing them on the side of the highway. Those are the people
uh,
that I want to work for. Standing next
right.
to
So
me, not just the owner of a company, being a dictator. They're actually doing the work.
right, they're involved. They understand the stress, the hot, the cold, all the conditions, and they don't see you as just a number in the sea of people. They see you as somebody that's generating growth and helping them get to the goal that they're growing. And they know investing in you is what gets them there to their
Yeah,
goal.
and they believe in family. And we talk on the weekends for the last few months, and I'll call them and they say, "Hey, Bo, I'm out on a family event. We'll talk on
Yep.
Monday." So they believe in family. So their employees, have family time because they understand family time. So that will make a
Love.
company go far.
Amen. I agree with that 100%. Well, tell our listeners, what does your role as a director of towing operations and training involve there, and what would you say your goals would be for Hannon over the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, as being a director and a trainer, it's I would be in charge of the day-to-day operations. I would be in charge of the hiring, training, and helping move the company forward. Um, that's the goal for the next 3 to 5 years. I want to grow this company. I want it to be the best company around the Beltway. I want them to know when Hannah's come around, it's Hannah's. They know it.
Yes, they want to see that you want the name to be, when they hear the name, they hear quality, they hear
They hear quality.
reliability, they hear people that'll be there for them no matter what. I love it,
Definitely.
man. I love it. Well, let me ask you this. So this is the key question, and I think a lot of owners sometimes miss this. How important is training in today's towing industry?
Oh, training is very important. Um, the lack of training shows. We all have Facebook and TikTok, and everything's video these days. So, someone with a good eye like I have, or experienced operators and trainers, they're being watched. So, at the end of
Yes,
the day, your company is a brand. So, if you're trying to build a brand and your team is not the best, it's going to show. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't hide the skill. You can't hide the knowledge. So, training is very important. Training is going to get you home. Training is going to save you money. At the end of the day, either you're going to pay
yes,
now or you're going to pay later.
yes. Amen. That's the old saying. What if I train them and they leave? What if you don't train them and they stay and they
And
cost you
yeah.
money? So it's the whole thing. Well, Bo, what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes that some of these towing companies make?
The biggest mistake is training. The biggest mistake is putting a price on training. That's the biggest mistake. I people
Right,
contact me all the time and they want to know price, 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 price. It's not about the price.
right.
It's my
Mhm,
course is cheaper than one damage claim. And that's the biggest mistake that
mhm.
these companies are making is what they're doing now is just they have these 50-ton rotators and 60-ton rotators and just putting people in a seat. Like they have this truck, they have this bill they have to pay, and so they're just
Yeah,
putting people in the truck without training. I didn't come up that way.
right, right. I get that, brother. I get that. Well, what would you say separates a good operator from a great operator?
A good operator from a great operator is training, being able to
Yeah,
listen, not thinking
yep.
that you know it all. That's what separates a good operator from a well-seasoned operator. It's being humble and always willing to learn.
Ooh, you said it, man, Bo. You said it right there. Being humble. I think that's a lot of us when we've done something repetitive, we've done it over and over again. I know you hear this daily. Well, I've been doing this for 20 years. But just because somebody's been doing something for 20 years doesn't mean they've been doing it right for 20 years. And being able to be humble and tuck that ego away and say, hey, this is about me coming home safely to my family, leaves you open to be able to soak in the education and get the materials in your head so you can work with them daily. So that was big what you said there, brother.
That's one of the most dangerous things you can say in this industry is I've always done it that way. That is the most dangerous thing you can say.
Yes, that's right. I agree. Well, how would you say, or let me ask you this, because I want to know this one now. What is the most challenging recovery that you've ever been involved in?
Oh, man. Phew. I've been in, 28 years, man. And I've done,
I know it.
I've done casualty, I've done entrapments, I've done I would say probably recent, probably about a year
Yeah,
ago. The one we done down in Florida where the tractor trailer went off the bridge in the hurricane. So Florida had the biggest
yeah.
hurricane in 100 years, was last year. And we had a tractor trailer that blew off the bridge down in the water. So I would say that was probably one of my most challenging jobs I've done in a long time that I could like really that stands out was bringing a fully loaded tractor trailer out of the water and putting it back, sending it back on the
Ooh,
bridge in the middle of a hurricane.
wow. Yeah, that had to take and that's a skill set that you have to have. And it's as they say, you don't rise to the level, you fall to the training that you have. When you get hit with something that comes up, you don't rise to the level, you fall back to the training. And if you don't have enough training, that's where people get hurt. That's where people step in above their head. So man, I'm so happy you're on here and we're going over this. Let me ask you your thoughts on where do you see the future of heavy recovery headed?
But you know what? People I hear all the time that it's a dying breed. I don't think it's a
Yeah,
dying breed. It's how you present the company, it's how you your equipment, having nice, shiny, clean equipment will attract the younger generation. It's not a dying breed. It's just that we just have to invest in them and we have to change the way we think, right? And the industry has
right.
evolved, right? So we're cut from a different cloth than the generation that we have now. So we were just built different, to be honest with you. You just have to understand the younger generation. And the good thing is, my sons are 26 and 28 years old, right? So I can relate to my
Yes.
children and I can relate to the younger crew, right? So at some point
Yeah.
in our industry, as leaders, even myself, at some point, I got to know when to get out, right? So we have people that's been in this
Yeah.
industry for 30, 40, 45 years, right? And it's time to, hey, give it away. It's time to let it go. That not being gatekeepers, you know what I mean? We have to be able to
Yeah.
share all our knowledge. Like I tell people, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't own the
Yeah.
towing company. I give people everything
Right.
that I have.
Amen. I love that. I love that. Well, if you could give one piece of advice to a young operator, what would it be?
Listen, stay humble, and train, and never think you know it all.
I love that. I love that. That's what I've always heard, man. When you think you know it all, you start backing up because there's so many other things you can learn on a daily basis. Well, Beau, let's do this. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to hear from some of our great sponsors, Wilbert, Towmate, Towbook, TRAA, and Hino Motor Corporation. Our great sponsors. We're going to hear from them, and we'll be right back.
Attention tow heroes. Level up with Towmate's new XR series wireless tow lights. Now supercharged with long-lasting lithium technology. Boost your truck's visibility with PowerLink 2-wire light bars and strobes. Maximize impact while minimizing installation. They utilize your existing wiring. And don't miss our lifesaver cone-mounted warning lights. Your first line of defense on the roadside. Illuminate your path at www.towmate.com/dealers or dial 800-680-4455. Towmate, dependable, durable, dynamic.
All
TRAA is the national association representing the U.S. towing and recovery industry. We act as the voice of America's towing industry by offering representation, education, and leadership at the federal level. Much of our focus is on representing the interest of the towing and recovery industry on Capitol Hill, including promoting positive legislation and opposing potentially negative legislation. TRAA is the industry's watchdog on Capitol Hill. There are so many compelling reasons to be a TRAA member. Besides being the right thing to do, membership gives you exclusive member benefits worth thousands of dollars a year, including exclusive TRAA member discounts from our featured partners such as Coast Fuel Cards, EV Clever App, Towbook, Wreckmaster, TowCert, Haas Alert, Zips, We Buy Key Fobs, Auto Data Direct, and Fleet Compliance Solutions. Free advertising in our national membership directory and online directory, email updates, invitations to exclusive events, and scholarship access. But best of all, you are pouring back into the industry to assure we together make it stronger for generations to come. A special thank you to our partner Gay Rochester of INA Towing for her continued ongoing support service to TRAA and her commitment to safety for our industry with one over, lose none. Become a National Association member today at traaonline.com.
Well, welcome back, one and all. You are listening to Tow Professional Podcast. Every week we do our best to bring great guests, industry leaders, and get the latest industry information out there to you. Make sure you download, you listen, like, and share. We're available on Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, Stitcher, iHeartMedia, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcast. And also, with a face that's made for radio, now you can find me on YouTube, everyone. So now we're over on that side as well. Make sure you check us out there. Well, we're back with Beau White of Towing and Recovery Academy. He's the CEO there. And now what we want to do is we want to dive in a little bit to Towing and Recovery Academy because, Beau, let me tell you, I've heard tremendous reviews across the board. Everybody likes you. You've got a style that I hear. Everybody's like, man, he's relatable. He's down to earth and he cares. And that's what shows and stands out. So, but tell our listeners, I know that, but tell our listeners why you started Tow and Recovery Academy.
Well, I started towing, to be honest with you, I started Tow and Recovery Academy. There used to be this group on Facebook. It was the heavy medium group, right? And I logged into the group, and it was maybe at that point, it was 100 members, right? But no one was actually teaching. So I started something called the Beau White walkarounds. So I would video and I would go live and show these guys how to hook things up, right? Because what I always disliked was gatekeepers. You know, when I came up from, I won't mention the company, but when I came up, and in my era, it was, hey, they wouldn't want to teach me. I would get out on a job. I had a truck that was leaning or something like that. And the senior guys would come and say, oh, I got it. Go ahead. And they would leave. They wouldn't teach me anything. Right. So then at one point I got with a company called Roadrunner Record Service. And the owner, Dave Butcher at the time, brought me on. And I remember my first rollover. It was in the wintertime. It was a dump truck rolled over the plow. And I head out there. He says, hey, can you get it? I was like, I can try. And, you know, being able to him to trust in me to do something like that is why. So that group, get back to that group was there. So I started training in that group, showing everybody in the group. That group grew to thousands of members, group members, right? Thousands of members in that group. And then at some point, you know how life is. You know, somebody's doing good, and next thing you know, there comes a bandwagon of people that try to bring you down. So they try to bring me down on certain things, and all it did was actually lift me up, and it actually made me better, right? It brought more attention to me. So I decided to just leave that group, and I created my own group. It's called Teaching How It's Done Heavy Duty Style. I created this group as a safe place for operators that can ask questions, because the other groups were someone asked a question and somebody would come in there and say, hey, if you shouldn't be driving a record if you got to ask this stupid question, all right? Things like that. So I created a group, a safe place for people that they can come in, post
Yeah.
pictures, and have and ask any questions they want. And if there was any bashing or any disrespect, I just deleted the people out of the group, man. I wanted to be a safe place for people. And
Dude,
that went on for years. And next thing I know, Tony Recovery Academy was built.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, I mean, that's what you see when people like that get out of the way that want to say something about others. You get them out of the way, and you're able just to talk with people. That's when the egos are removed, and that's when people get their most growth and grow the most is when they're able to ask those questions and understand why they're doing what they're doing. So that's huge. So I think you answered some of this, but this will be a two-part question. What problem were you trying to solve in the industry when you started Towing and Recovery Academy, and what makes your training different than everyone else's?
Well, what I wanted to do was show people how it's done the correct way, right?
Yes.
I always hear you always gotta be Beau White, it's always gotta be Beau White. No, it's not Beau White. There's only one way that's the right way. We can do it different ways, but it has to be right. So
Yes.
my goal was to just show people other ways of doing it, but as long as it was correct. And I forgot the
Yes.
other part. What
Love
was the other part?
how's it different, and what were you trying to solve in the industry by doing this?
Okay, so I'm different. The way that my company is different is because I'm patient.
Yes.
Um, I keep the classes to a small number, right? Because for me, it's not about
Yep.
the quality, about the quantity. It's about quality,
Yes.
and just to make it different. That's all.
Love it. Love it. So let me ask you this. What does no wallflowers mean in the classes?
So the no so this is how this works. The no flowers. That's the reason why I limited the class, right? I've been to
Yeah.
multiple training courses, right? So no wallflowers mean that what happens is you have these big name companies, right? And
Mhm.
they have hundreds of people in there, right? So when you have hundreds of people in a course, you can't control it, right? You can't control and time management. And then what happens is people get disconnected from the course, right? Because
Yeah.
they can't get their questions asked. Too much is going on, right? So no wallflowers mean that everybody who's attending Torn Recovery Academy, when there's a tractor trailer rolled on the side, everybody gets to do it. If there's a box truck rolled over, everybody gets to do it. Everybody participates. Every question gets asked, and that's what that no wallflowers come from.
I love that. I love that because I've seen these classes where you got 80 to 100 plus in a class, and you'll see some guys that get answered, and others, they got questions. They're afraid they'll be in the way if they ask it because there's so many people, and then some people get hands on and some don't. And that brings me to the next question because I feel like I know the answer to this, but I'm just a publisher, so I'm going to leave it to you. Why is hands on training so important?
So hands-on training is very because we all learn different, right? So
Yes.
me, I was a guy where somebody can explain something to me over the phone, I was able to understand it and do it, right? But then you have people that actually have to physically do it. So what
Yes.
I do is when you come to Torn Recovery Academy, everybody shows the way they rig things, because everybody does things different, right? So you just have to be hands-on. Like you can't be a wallflower and standing back watching this one operator who owns the truck get to roll it over. So when you come to
Yeah.
me, I don't care who the owner is. I don't care if it's a light duty. I don't care if it's your daughter, your secretary, or your janitor. They will get their
Mhm.
hands on that control and actually see how it operates and feel the truck, and
Yes.
hands-on is very important to a lot of people. We all learn different.
I love that. I watched one of your videos, Bo, and it really stood out to me. And some people might say it's a small thing, but to me, it was one of the biggest things because if you don't get this part right, you don't make it to do the rest of the job. And you were showing every one of your attendees how they were to enter and exit the truck, how they were to exit it when they were out there on scene. And that can change a lot right there if you don't know how to get in and out of the truck correctly because people aren't paying attention to you. So,
You saw the comments and you saw he's wasting time. Y'all are paying for this, right? But what the people was missing was they wasn't watching the video. They didn't see 9 people get out of the truck incorrectly. So it's like
Yes.
they're paying. This is what they're paying for, right? So I believe in building a solid foundation, right? You have to build a solid foundation because you can build on anything, but if it's not solid, it's going to crumble, right? In time, it's going to crumble. It's going to show what you don't know in time, So, like I said, 9 people got out of the truck. It is not just about that. It's about the workman's comp. If you slip and
Yes.
fall, then there's a workman's comp against that company. And what these employers don't understand is at the end of the year, when it's time to renew, you're paying, right? So it's about uh education. It's those little. If I could teach you one little small thing on my course, I felt good about it.
I love it. I love it. Well, what are some of the success stories you've seen from former students?
Oh man, I see it every
They
day.
love that.
Every day there's just a saying, and I go to this course, and the saying is, you should create a lot of mini bows, is what they say, right? Create mini bows. So for me is when someone comes to one of my courses and I've seen them elevate to a bigger truck, right? For example, Lawrence Torn, right? His
Yeah.
daughter, I trained her when she was driving a light duty truck, right? And she took another
Right.
course and I trained her, and now she's a rotator operator, right? She's running a rotator. I taught her a lot in the heavy industry. And for me just to turn on Facebook and turn on my TikToks and I get a tag with my name on it. Hey, Beau, this is what I'm doing. Just watching my students is what motivates me and what keeps me going, man.
I love it. I love it. Well, when you say, I want to ask you this, what's the most common rigging mistakes that you see out there?
The most common, it just not properly connecting the rigging together. You'll see people put a chain to a strap, not understanding they're creating pinch points. That's pretty much the most common, just the rigging.
Gotcha. Good. That's good. Well, would you say is the most rewarding part of your teaching?
The most rewarding part,
Yeah.
just to see people elevate and move to the next level.
It's making all those little bows that go out there and
Yep.
are excited about it, and they're able to tell others how to be safe from your training, man. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Well, tell me this. I got to ask this. What legacy do you want Towing and Recovery Academy to leave in the industry?
Um, just legacy, man. I ain't nowhere near that yet, but let's see. I would say just training. The legacy would be like when I started in the towing industry, right? There was this guy by the name of Kevin Gear. Lives in
Yeah.
Fredericksburg, Virginia. He
Yeah.
taught me a lot of things that I know, right? So the legacy is when I go to places and I'll tell people, hey, Kevin Greer, I would say Will Kane, I would say Richard Grutman, I would say, hey, I still talk about these people where I learned a lot of things that I know today.
Yep.
Casey Barrels, people who have
Yep.
taught me the things that I know along the way. Uh, for me is 20 years from now, somebody sitting in the same spot in a different podcast saying, hey, I went to Beau, Torn Recovery Academy's course. And, just to hear my name, I won't hear it, but just people still talking about Beau 20 years from now is
Yeah.
what's moving me, right? Like I said, the guys that I learned from, I talk
Yes.
about them. And the same thing that they would say, hey, just remember that, Beau got them started and, you know, that's what it's about for me is being able to talk about Beau 20,
Yeah.
30 years from now.
I love that. I love that. And they'll know they got there just the way you did, which was paying homage to the men and women that went before you, and them paying homage to Towing and Recovery Academy for them being able to get their growth and be able to grow their career in the future. To have them give that shout back, that's huge. That's huge. Well, let's do this. Let's take one more commercial break for our wonderful sponsors and listeners. When we come back, we'll have more on Beau's ideas on personal and leadership qualifications. I think this is fantastic. It's something we all need to know when we go into a job, and Beau's got some good information for us. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
In the heavy wrecker and towing industry, safety and efficiency are paramount. That's why professionals trust Will Burt for their scene lighting needs. Will Burt's night scan light towers can be installed on wreckers and tow vehicles, providing powerful illumination exactly where it's needed. The remote positioning overhead LED lights do not blind oncoming traffic or your crew. For rugged, reliable, and portable lighting, Will Burt's rechargeable scene lights by Night Searcher are the perfect solution, ready to go anywhere. With the FRC scene lights from Will Burt installed on your vehicle, you can ensure the area around your truck is brightly lit, further enhancing safety and efficiency. Learn more about how Will Burt's scene lighting solutions can make a difference at willburt.com. That's WILLBURT.com. Will Burt, innovation elevated.
Towbook.com is the only way to go to manage all the vehicles you tow off the road. The number one platform in the industry. The cloud-based towing software can handle all your needs right from your phone with support day and night. Visit towbook.com and give it a try.
Welcome back, listeners. You are listening to Tow Professional on the Go podcast. We are here, you are there, and we're trying to always bring you the top leaders in the industry, the top information, so you can get out of the red and stay in the black. And with today, we have Beau White with Towing and Recovery Academy. And let me tell you, I don't get to do a lot of these interviews where I get to ask as many questions as I want. Beau said, "Hey, man, I'm an open book. Brother, just ask me anything you want." So I'm enjoying this thoroughly, and we're going to get all the information we can for you guys so y'all can, so you men and women can take part in this in the future. So one of the things I want to ask before we move on and talk about leadership, Beau, is I know you moved to Maryland and are working with Hannon. So I wanted to know what's the plans with Towing and Recovery Academy going forward. Tell our listeners about that, because I know they're waiting there on pins and needles and got their pencil handy and ready to write down some info.
Oh, man. So Towing Recovery Academy and Hannah's, we teamed up together, right? This is something that we've been planning for a good little while. So
Okay.
Towing Recovery Academy is still there. But let me tell you guys something. We're doing something that's never been done before. At Hannon's and Towing Recovery Academy, we have a first indoor training facility. So we will have a heated and AC inside training. So when the weather is bad, when it's cold outside, when it's snowing outside, and some people don't want to be in the cold, because I do understand. When I took one of my courses up in Hagerstown, it was snowing, it was cold. It was hard to focus because my feet were cold, my hands were cold, and trying to get through a 2-day course, but that's real training, right? So we have the option to go outside and train outside in the snow or in the rain, or we have the option to train on the inside, which hadn't been done before. We can take a tractor trailer in there with the rotators, and we can swing, pick and swing. And not just that. Hey, listen, we have the very first M100 in the state of Maryland. Who don't want to get, listen, who doesn't want to get their hands on the M100 and train? Who don't want to put their hands on that remote? Listen, we got the M100, we got 1075s, we got 1150s, we got 9055s, we got tractor trailers, we got dump trucks, we got everything you could possibly want in a training session. Like, come on, it's the M100. Who doesn't want to swing the boom on the M100?
Dude, you just took my child dream, the Tonka playground, and put it inside so you can play with it on rainy days, on stormy days.
Rainy day.
I love it.
Listen, it's the M100, people. Listen.
Yes.
And listen, we're in Maryland. The very first class will be July 18th. You heard it from me. The very first class will be July 18th. Come out, just stand next to the M100. You will get your hands on the M100. Hey, 1075s. I mean, it's gonna be some crazy lifts going on at Hanna's.
Man, I'm telling you, Bo, that's like somebody letting you walk up and drive their Bugatti Chiron around the parking lot, and getting to put their hands on a $2 million piece of equipment that when it's spec'd out is that's unbelievable to be able to learn at that level. So, whoa,
Not just
now
that,
that brings me. Go ahead.
not just that, we're hiring at Hannes. Let me tell you about Hannes. They have the very best equipment and the cleanest equipment. They say if you
Mhm.
don't have the equipment, you're not going to be very successful. So let me tell you guys, everything's shining, everything's new. We have every piece of equipment you can possibly. It's a dream. So listen, we're hiring at Hannes. So if you want to get on with Hannes, contact me. Y'all know my contact information. And trust me, when you come in, all you got to do that separates Hannes from all the other towing companies, all you got to do is show up. We have every air fitting, every chain, every Milwaukee blower, all the power tools that you're going to need. Our trucks are turnkey, ready to go.
Wow, I love that. Well, I was going to ask, but I think you just answered it. Why people call you the recovery goat? I mean, having an indoor playground where everybody can train, bringing that inside, hands on with a $2 million piece of equipment, and if you show off your skills well enough, you got an opportunity to try out for a job as well. Man, you can't go wrong. That's like a winning lottery ticket, being able to train with you.
Just
So,
think
tell
about
me
it.
about the recovery goat story.
You have me at your disposal every single day. Now, the recovery goat is
Love
what people say. I appreciate it. I'm very humble about it. Listen, there were guys that came before me and there are guys in this industry that are greater than I am, right? That there are guys that I listen to that I have to sometimes, get good advice from.
Yes.
The GOAT thing is, it's the younger generation type thing, and I'm humble
Yeah.
about it. I appreciate it, but I don't think I'm a GOAT. I just think that I just do things different than everybody else, and people are seeing it, and I'm just reaching the younger generation.
I love it, man. I love it. I love how you're humble, Bo. And that's one thing I've thought about you from day one is I was like, man, this guy's got a tremendous amount of knowledge, but he's just as humble as he can be. And that's who people love learning from. Is
Well, I'll
somebody
be
that's
hon- I'll
like,
be I'll be honest. I wasn't always humble. I'll be honest. I
hey, I
wasn't
won't do
always humble. I was probably one of the biggest assholes in the industry.
that.
I learned from it though. Like I learned from it. Uh, as you get older, you mature and you see things different. So I'm able to see a lot of things different because I can't lead, being a leadership position, doing some of the things that I used to do. And hey, I'll be honest with you, I'm still growing, right? There's some things that I'm eliminating out of my life. I'm eliminating the negativity. So I'm back
Yes.
to where I used to be a couple years ago. You know what? Instead of me responding to a lot of comments, I just, if it's negative, I just delete them because I'm still
Yep.
growing. Because sometimes I want to get on that keyboard and just type back. So now I just figure out, the best thing to do is like, you know what, just delete it. Just move on. You got a handful of people that like to steer the pot,
You're
and
right.
and I didn't always be humble. People know me; they know where I come from. I know where I came from,
Yep.
but I know where I'm going. So what I did yesterday is not who I am today. So, but I
Hey,
definitely learned from it. Yeah,
I,
and
I
I'm
love
still
that,
growing,
Bo.
man. I'm still growing.
Hey, same way here. Listen, I can proudly say I'm not the man I used to be. I'm not even the man I was when I started in this market 15 years ago. But it's just like going for a suit. I ask everybody, hey, just check the size again.
That's
Just
it.
recheck me, and you'll see I'll show up differently than I used to. So I'm going to need a
Mhm.
recheck in here before you just go get the suit because I am different than I used to be, and I've learned from a lot of my mistakes. That's the only reason why I'm doing better is because I learned from them instead of didn't pay attention to them. So I hear you on that one, man. Well, what does success mean to you today compared to when you first started? And I think you just talked about a little bit of that.
But success is you know, wanting to learn. The only
Yes.
way you can to succeed is training. And I tell people,
Yep.
I get calls all the time, but let me see if my company will pay for it. No, my company won't pay for it. And I tell people all the time, listen, the best investment is in yourself.
Amen.
When I did it, I had to pay out of my pocket. I wanted to move to the next level. So I had to pay for it. I had one of my previous companies who introduced me to other training. And we signed a contract. Hey, we'll send you here 1 year, and this is what it costs, $600, and we'll prorate it. So if you leave it six months, you owe me $300. So I would say just invest in yourself. Don't wait for your
Yeah.
company to pay for it. Just do it yourself. It's the only way you're gonna get ahead in certain situations.
Yeah, and once you've been certified, you've taken that training. That's knowledge you got in your pocket, and that makes you more valuable out there in the workforce anyway. So, like you said, investing in yourself, it's going to pay off long term anyway,
Yep.
without a doubt. Well, let me ask you this: what would you say was your biggest career setback, and what did it teach you?
My biggest career setback was probably not being humble,
Right.
responding to negativity, right?
Yes.
When I was younger, I would say, I don't know, maybe like 8, 9 years ago, was my
Me.
biggest
Me
setback
too.
was I pissed off a lot of people in the industry, right? And
Right.
I that was one of my biggest setbacks. And I tell people, even to my training classes today, hey man, don't make the same mistakes I did. It was a tough hill for me to climb to get back to where
Yep.
I am today. And I still have some of the people that they just still remember me from those days, and I have to accept that.
Mhm.
But I'm not who I was yesterday. So that was my biggest mistake, was retaliating back, with
Yep.
negativity, and something that cost me a lot. And I tell people, don't do it, because somebody's always waiting for you to fail. And
Yeah.
every dog has his day, and I had my failure day, and people around the world talked about it, and I recouped from it though, right? I learned, hey, you're gonna make a
Right.
mistake. So you keep talking, running your mouth, your day's gonna come. So I learned you'll never see me comment anymore on Facebook about somebody's work. I just leave it alone. I look at it, I get privately messaged, or I would privately message someone and say, hey, change this, change that. But I would never publicly say it, because my voice is very powerful in this industry. So if I
Yep.
said something, everybody would just jump on the bandwagon on it, and crucify this guy in public. And I know what it's like to be crucified in public. So um, just stay away from the negativity. And I'm trying now to do better myself. Just delete it out of your life.
Yes, yes, I love that. And Bo, you sound like me. I had a lot of hope in my heart. I thought I was doing good when I came back, and I always thought I was doing something to help along. But once I realized what I was doing wasn't being helpful and it was being harmful, man, I changed that completely. And some people want to bring up the past, but when that thing you say about haters and criticism is, a lot of them they want to talk about you, but they won't unfollow you because they'll be afraid they miss something when they unfollow you. So,
Hey, I
uh,
can tell you this, man. My group, listen, I got more fake accounts in my group.
yeah,
But you know what? I don't mind. You know what? They're learning. It's the same people that. I'll be honest with you about this industry. The people who dislike me have
yeah,
never ever sat at my table, have never met me, never had a conversation. So that's what really kills me, is we've never even
yeah,
met. We've never even talked. I had some words with one of your friends, and now you don't like me. And I tell everybody, each to their own. Like, just because you don't like this person doesn't mean that him and I can't have a great relationship. So the people who dislike
mhm,
me never ever met me. We haven't shake hands, we haven't break bread, we
right,
ain't sat at a table nowhere. So I don't know how you can not like a person and don't even know them. So,
yeah. Well,
but the
I
thing
tell
about
you
it
one
is,
thing.
that's my success.
Yes, exactly. And it's, when you're able to be vulnerable and admit your mistakes, that shows the biggest, strongest person in the market right there. And I used to think the ego was strength, but being humble is a much more powerful position to come from. And those are the people that are successful, that get heard, and people seek out. And that's why you do so well in the industry, brother.
All right.
So I love those answers. Let me ask you this: what are you most proud of in your career, and what does coming back home mean to you?
Oh man. Most proud of just seeing my work, just seeing the things that I've put out there in the industry, just seeing people doing it the right way. And to come home
Yeah.
was a bonus for me. I have my first
Yeah.
granddaughter. She's one now, and to be
Congratulations.
family is very important. And that was one of the number one reasons that I chose Hannah's, because they are very family oriented. They understand that your kid's birthday or softball game, and me having my granddaughter, being so far away from her, 14 hours from my granddaughter,
Yeah.
it broke my heart every time I came in town and I left. Now my granddaughter has a room in my house, and
Love it.
I can see my granddaughter every single day.
Awesome. Awesome. I love it. I love it. That's without a doubt, that's the right move. Well, I guess I know that's some of it, but what keeps you hungry after all these years?
What keeps me, man, you know what? It's crazy for me. I'm not sure how other people are, but being on the side of the highway, being able to be under that pressure and get that job done, get that rolled over in a success, being able to get that excavator out of the water or whatever. For me, every job is like my first one.
Yeah.
If you ever see me on the side of the highway, I'm jumping up and down like one of the guys. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just screaming. People look at me and they're like, man, I can't believe this guy still have this kind of energy after 28 years. I still feel like every recovery is my very first one, and I'm jumping up and down with my guys. I'm screaming, I'm hugging. It's just it's in me. This is what I was born to do. This was my gift, was towing and recovery, was and
Yes.
teaching. It's my gift. Everybody. Some people can sing, some people can dance. I can do towing and recovery.
Yeah, I love it, man. And like they say, when you do what you enjoy doing, you never work a day in your life. You just going out there and enjoying yourself, man. I love it, and it shows in your training. So, when it's all said and done, how do you want the industry to remember Beau White?
How I want the industry to remember that.
I'm throwing heat
Uh,
today, man. I'm bringing it.
yeah, just the deposits, the investments that that I put out in the world. Just to make the industry safer. People to understand that just because I do it different doesn't mean it's wrong. So I got different techniques. I do things a lot
Yeah,
different. I see things a lot different. I'm always looking 10 steps ahead. Like my guys that work for me, they know they're thinking about. I'm like, listen, I'm 10 steps ahead of that. I already know what's coming, right? I see it coming. I've been there a lot. Just the deposits I'm making to the earth, man. To see my name on,
yes,
somebody's truck, like JB Toe. We talked about him, right? Hey, man, put my logo on your truck. He's like, cool, send that to me. Just to just what I'm leaving in the earth, man. Just a deposit, they say you're born on this date,
yeah,
and you have that gap in between there, that dash, and then you have the end date, right? It's not about those two. It's about what you've done in that dash. Like, what have you
yeah.
left in this earth to continue to give? So my training and my teaching will always continue to give. It's a gift that keeps
Amen.
giving.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So if you had a microphone connected to every tow operator in North America right now, what's the one message you want them to hear?
I had a microphone.
Reaches everybody, every tow
Reaches
operator.
everybody. Every tow operator. Do it right.
Mm,
Do it right. Don't cut corners, no shortcuts, and never say it'll be all right. Never do that. Don't cut corners and do it the right way.
yes, and if you want to do it right, if you want to never cut corners, if you want to do it the right way, and if you don't want to be embarrassed for asking any question or told this is a dumb question or whatever, if you want to meet somebody that's humble, that will take any question you throw at them as somebody that's digging for knowledge to do it right and to show up as the best possible operator on every job, go see Beau White at Towing and Recovery Academy, because he's the man that's going to help you make that happen. And I tell you, anybody wants to get a hold of him, make sure you can email Beau at towingacademy@gmail.com. You can go to the website. Give him the website, Beau.
The website is towingacademy.net.
There you go, towingacademy.net. Or do you want me to give the cell phone number?
Yeah, cell phone number. Hey,
All right.
listen, one thing about what separates me from all the other courses is every person, every student gets my personal cell phone number. I'm available to every student from 8 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. So if they're on the side of the highway, they got a question how to rig something, how to tow something, how to do a recovery, I'm available. So my number is 571-833-8884.
Love it. I love it. Towing and Recovery Academy. Now remember, got a course coming up. When is it? July 18th in
July
Maryland.
18th in Maryland at Hannah's Towing. I will be putting the flyer out Monday.
Love it. Awesome. Awesome. Well, Beau, I appreciate you so much being on the podcast today. And man, I appreciate you just being an open book and let me ask as many questions as I wanted to ask you. I'd say the first podcast host that we've had, a guest we've had on here that's allowed us just to ask as many questions as we wanted to. And it just shows how much you care about the industry and where your heart's at with these folks, and how much you take pride in them being able to leave, do their job, do it correctly, and come home safely. And I know that means a lot to you. And I appreciate you being on. And I'm going to do one thing I always do on this podcast. I'm going to end it with a prayer. If you bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for our service providers. I thank you for our vendors. Father, I ask you continue to protect them, continue to fill them with knowledge so that they can bring that to our market to keep our men and women safe. I thank you for every one of our tow operators out there, our owners, our dispatchers, our mechanics, everybody involved, Father, and I ask that you just increase them for their servant's heart, protect them, bring them home safe to their families, and open the public's eyes on the dangers that are out there for our roadside first responders, and protect them along the way and bring them home safe. And we ask this in your precious name, Jesus. Amen. Well, as always, we thank every one of you listeners, 23,000 plus worldwide, that have made Tow Professional Podcast #1 in the industry. We thank industry leaders like Beau White for coming on here with Towing and Recovery Academy. Make sure you go see them, towingandrecoveryacademy.net. Take a look at it. Make sure you make that course July 18th. Just like Beau said, invest in yourself. It'll be the best money you ever spend. It'll pay dividends throughout your life. And before I go, any last words, Beau?
Come to Hannah's Towing. We are hiring. We have the best equipment in the world.
Come get your hands on the M100. Try it out. Work the controls. Do the training. Pay it forward and earn more in this industry and get home safe and learn from the best. Beau, appreciate you being on the show with us, sharing all of your industry knowledge. And as always, man, we hope you stay prosperous and blessed out there in the industry. We thank you. Thank you, listeners. And until next time, keep listening. Tow Professional On The Go podcast, and pick up Volume 15, Issue 4 to be hitting hands in the next week and a half. And our focus on that one is training and safety. And you'll see directly from Beau White in the editorial. Thanks again, and God bless.